Jeff did something fun yesterday with a nice photo. And I wanted to share a story when we were building BizTalk Server 2016. So this is me. I think I was in Australia when I was younger. And my dad thought it would be a good thing to make that pink line so I wouldn't get sunburned. But the thing is, you guys know about the new icons in BizTalk 2016? Yeah. We almost put a pink theme on it. So as we moved in, those icons are generated based on a BMP, but they're all transparent. But BMP doesn't support that, so we made a pink background, and we kind of, in the program when we build it, we remove that pink background. Yeah, you just go ahead and take it. When we moved in the new icons, there was opacity problems with the icons, so 2 hours before we were going to build the final build that was going to be shipped out to everyone, one of the engineers said, "Is it by purpose that you have this pink stroke around all the icons?" What? So we managed to fix it. So, but there's one tiny pixel in one of the icons that's pink. And that's for you guys to figure out where it is. Email me, and I'll send you a nice gift. And it's hard to find, man, but there's, I want to start up with some of the fun announcements that we want to do. So BizTalk's a big product, and we talked about that Better Together story and how we take advantage of other products in Microsoft. And one of the things we've had running for a while is the Logic App adapter in BizTalk. And it's pretty cool. And in Logic App, we had the BizTalk connector. But for a very, very long time, it'd been saying preview. But today, you guys are the first to know, it went into general availability, and it's now fully supported and all that stuff. And it's pretty awesome. So if you haven't tested it out, go in and do it and use it. Another thing, and that's more like a question, how much do you guys like migration? Not the consultants, I know you guys love it. But I mean the customers in the room. It's painful, it takes time, and I've spoken to a lot of people during this event that are doing the migration projects, and I've told them some of the stuff I did when we were doing this, and that was the best thing you can do is move everything, and then you start testing it. Because if you move one, and then you take the next one, and then you take the next one, and suddenly you broke application one, right? Then, we're not only working very closely internally with our teams, but we also have MSIT, which is one of our customers internally that also heavily use BizTalk Server. And what we like about these people, and we talked about it, how they dog food all our programs and products, every time we ship something new, they migrate. I felt so sorry for them. There's a lot of application, and it takes a lot of time. And then one of the guys said, "Oh, no, it doesn't take that much time." I'm like, "What do you mean?" "No, we built a tool for it." "Oh, you did?" I'm like, yeah, it's pretty awesome. "Yeah, give it to me, and I want to share it." And then, yeah, that was the plan. So, MSIT built a new tool. It's general available. It provides a lot of nice functionality. So, moving your applications, partners, agreements, file paths, whoever has access to that, websites, app pools, whatever you have in your BizTalk environment, there's a few limitations, and we have that up on our blog, where you also can download it. So if you go on MSDN BizTalk blog, you'll find it. But pretty much anything you have in your BizTalk environment, you can automatically migrate from one environment to the other one. It's not running through Visual Studio and rebuilding it, but it will take a lot of that process if you're going from 2013 or 2013 R2 to 2016. And it also helps in those customers that have been looking at me saying that in about a year's time, 2013 and R2 is going to be out of mainstream support. And you're like, "Oh, that's a one-year program." And like, we got to migrate all this stuff. This will help, and hopefully by the end of some time, we'll have a better unified ALM story, and then going forward, it will be easy. Like Richard said here, and said a couple of times, you shouldn't have to worry about doing all of these upgrades, and we're definitely looking into how we can ease that process for you guys. I've been there. I was a consultant though, so I loved the migration project. So, there's a reason why I do all this skipping, because I love seeing you guys taking up the phone. And I try to walk in front of all the photos, so I get to be on them. But one thing that I felt has not been mentioned too many times is, and Nino did a great job on this, BizTalk's more than capable to do hybrid integration. I mean, Michael Stephenson wrote a blog post on how he leveraged Azure Function with BizTalk, and there was a huge discussion as that why do you want to do that? You can do this on-prem, blah. But I mean, BizTalk's so flexible. I mean, you can do so much stuff with it. Like, yeah, I can't put it in front of my kids and they play with it, but they can do that with Logic App. But there's so much stuff you can do with the product, and I feel sometimes people don't necessarily see all that. Like we do get requests for new connectivity, new adapters, and we do build and help and look into making things better. But it's also possible to write your own adapters. We got great partners, like Active Adapter is one of them, and we got N Software that built adapters and sell them and make a living out of it. So there's plenty of ways to do flexible integration without waiting for us to ship adapter for Service Bus, for instance, right? So I just wanted to mention that. We like the cloud as well. We just like to have a server. I'm still a server hugger, although it's kind of hard. I went to one of the data centers in Azure, and all I saw was white containers. I ended up hugging them, and everybody else looked at me like, dude, that's not good. And I did mention the automatic deployment and you'll remember these slides from Monday. But I'm kind of using them again because I want to talk and I'll show a little as well. So one of the things we did with Feature Pack 1, and I haven't mentioned that on Monday, but I'll mention it again, is Feature Pack is non-breaking changes, which means if you install it in your 2016 environment, we won't break your applications. We won't mess up anything. Shh. No, I'm just kidding. That's the intention of the feature packs. So in these feature packs, we cannot introduce breaking changes. Can we do in-memory processing? That will require some core changes to the product, hence we got to wait for the major V next. And we already announced that we're working on major V next. We don't know when that will be though, but it will be soon enough. But I want to do some more extra stuff before that. So one of the things that we do support, and I did mention this, is the multi-server environment, so that you can have multiple machines that you deploy to, and the binding file with the support for tokens. You can set up multiple environments in VSTS, and you can set up that CD, CI, automatically deploy. Limitation in Feature Pack 1 was obviously we didn't support multi-server environments, but for development machines, you got 18 developers. They're all running on that wonderful image we have up in Azure with everything installed on. All you have to do is configure it. And you can automatically deploy the application to all the development machines. So every developer has the same applications using the same Git repository, etc. Which is often stuff we see, and Richard mentioned that one as well. It worked on my machine, right? So making sure everything's unified across development as well is definitely very important. So before I jump into that part, I want to talk one more thing, and that's the management APIs, and I'll show how that looks as well. So the management APIs is pretty much anything you can do from the admin console, any part you did in the old days with PowerShell connecting to the Explorer OM, all the other OMs we have. I think we have about 8, but a lot of them are hidden from you guys. But we exposed all that through the management API, so you can do what Richard presented, where you can automatically create an application using Java. Pretty cool. And as well as that, you can also create own tools. Like we talked about the management portal, partner portal. Maybe you want to put some more functionality into a Power App. And what I did mention, and we talked about that, and there's an ask from some of our customers, like I want to be able to expose all the information from BizTalk to my end users or to my business users, but I don't want them to go in and delete a message. And to be fair, you don't want to show them the MMC console. They barely know how to use Word. No offense. since there's none of them here, so I feel like I'm safe saying it. Is this recorded? So you can take all that, you can expose it how you want, but what I wanted to say is with API management, you can also take it up and you can build your own policies. So not only do we like having our endpoints from BizTalk, but you can also take the management APIs and do the caching, build all these awesome tools, and you can expose it down to Power Apps, in Logic app, send it to a bot, connect it to Cortana, or for those of you guys who have Alexa at home, Alexa, I need some extra money, so stop BizTalk. 5 minutes later, there's the phone call, and yeah, I'll fix it. Alexa, start BizTalk. 2 hours. Or if you're a consultant, fork. But I mean, there's plenty of opportunities to take BizTalk, and Jim said it on Monday, and be creative. And somebody once told me that a creative adult is a child who survived. And I'm looking at a lot of children here. Yeah, I'm just kidding, I'm not. So, there's a few things I want to talk about. And that's more of the actual features we shipped in Feature Pack 1. And I did ask on Monday who's installed Feature Pack 1, who's played with it. And there was a few hands up in the air. And I don't know if you guys are not excited about it or not. Are you excited about it? Yeah, we want another one. Are you guys excited about it? Jesus. I had this in Norway when I was doing a lot of courses and teaching people how to be a good BizTalk admin. And every time I asked a question, everybody was like, yeah, don't look at me. I could go, what's 1 + 1? I don't know. Kind of like that now.
2.
Good job, man. So, do you guys want to see more feature packs? Yeah. Okay. We'll see what we can do about that. One of the things we did add was operational data being exposed through an OData feed. Again, you can add whatever security you want on the web config file if you want to just give access to your admins, or if you want to give access to specific users or user groups or whatever you want to do, you can do it. Together with that, we also shipped a PowerBI template file. Who's played with PowerBI? Everyone. And if you didn't raise your hand, you're one of them. PowerBI is a powerful, powerful tool that lets you take data and present it visually very nicely. And there's a lot of users worldwide using this. And there's a lot of tools that uses or takes advantage of PowerBI. And BizTalk being so fresh and new, and we're just 16 years old. I mean, that's nothing. Who's more than 16 years old in here? Yeah. So don't come and show that Tyrannosaurus Rex. If we're a dinosaur, what are you guys? See? So we take advantage of new technology as well, and PowerBI being one of them. And it's very, very flexible. So the template that we ship has some information that's already stored in your tracking database that you might not necessarily know. Like, what's the duration of this application? What's the average file size? Or what's the biggest file size that we have? And you can set this up with scheduling, or you can set it up so you get more frequent updates into powerbi.com if you want to have it online or whatnot. And we gave you simple stuff so at least you can get some ideas. But you can definitely take it way beyond what we did. So homework for everyone is go in, play around with this, send me your Power BI template file, and show me how awesome Power BI and BizTalk admins / developers you guys are. There's still admins there, right? Huh? Nobody? Okay. 2, I know there's at least 1. I talked to him a couple of times. So, just showing this again, what we can do is we can go in and we can see what's happening in the environment. So obviously this is not automatic update, but I did send through a few messages when I was trying this out. And it gives kind of like a good indication of the health of your environment. You don't have to have this on your BizTalk machine. You can have this running on your machine, local laptop, on your phone, or online on powerbi.com. And I use this heavily and I check it every day, and it's usually what I like. I go and check how BizTalk's doing on my test machine, although it's not really doing that much fun stuff. But it's really, really powerful to be able to go in and take a look at some of this stuff. And in this kind of scenario, you also get everything you'll see in your group hub. Tracked messages, if they're suspended, terminated by user. Who thinks there's something wrong when it says terminated by user? Nothing you want to change about that? Just one guy? Okay. Well, yeah, who's user? That's what I usually say. Okay, I was just interested in getting some feedback on something, but yeah. You guys are so responsive. I was playing Katy Perry for you guys. I thought I was going to come in and everybody was dancing. So I want to go in and quickly show you guys a little bit more about, see, I have a lot of fancy stuff here. A little bit about the Swagger. So who's played around with REST APIs and Swagger and all that before? Oh, wow. I'm impressed. So then this won't be very new to you guys. But a lot of these things you can invoke and test. I'm just going to go and open it up. For some reason, I closed it before I got on stage, so now I have to do it all over again. I know it's going to say this, but we're going to fix it. I hope. So all of these, you can go in and you can look at them, you can test them, you can try them out. So it's going to load and get all the endpoints. The benefit of the Swagger, it builds everything very, very, very nicely. To install this, after you install Feature Pack, we made it very simple for you guys. There's a simple PowerShell script. You run that PowerShell script, select some users, and obviously the application pool running the server or service has to have access to your databases, etc. Otherwise, it will just fail. And we usually say when you can see this, then you did it. And let's, for the fun part, just click on this here, go in on the get. And in this Swagger, you can go in and test it. Fun thing is, not only do we support JSON, we also support XML. So we're BizTalk. I mean, we support everything. It's not like we only give you half. And like I said, there's plenty of ways of using this. And every time we talk about this to someone or we announce something new, it's fun to see how customers take advantage of this technology. Somebody writes a blog post or they ping me an email. And the guy who wrote the Power App, he had a problem with Power App, so he emailed me, I'm building this Power App to manage my BizTalk environment, and I got a problem with Power App, do you know who I can talk to? And I got so excited that we ended up, and Jim got excited, so we ended up going up to our CVP, and he got all excited, jumping around in the room to see how small things can make a big difference. And who's been on call for BizTalk here? So a few. Who had a laptop and had to log on VPN? Who were on call and they got a call when they were not in front of their computer at home? I was at the hairdresser once. Hang on, when are you finished? Like 10 minutes. Yeah, I'll look into it, and like in 15 minutes, I'll have it up and running. Hour later, we fixed it. So having all of these, you can either use the power of Power Apps, flows, or even Logic App, and call things. I'm going to close this one down. There's a few more things that we did ship. I thought about showing you guys always encrypted, but then I decided it's not going to be very exciting seeing me encrypt and decrypt and encrypt and decrypt. I kind of did that pretty nicely in my slides as well. But I wanted to show the scheduling support that we added in Feature Pack 1. So back in the day, when you were setting this up, and who's used the service window in BizTalk? And who messed up when they set it up and it was on the wrong time? Everyone. Yeah, exactly right. So we kind of knew that would happen. And as we were doing this, we also made sure that we added support to make this a little bit easier for you guys. So let me just go in on one of these receive locations. So now you select your time zone. It's all UTC based, and you can select whatever time zone you want to have, because often you can have, let's say you're running BizTalk in Azure and you have the machines running multiple places, or you have it running at a different location than the time zone you're in, and then you think you're setting it up to not run at this time, and then, like we saw all the hands, it's not running when you thought it would be, and then you go, it's not, come on, it's not me. I did everything correct, and then BizTalk gets blamed. We get blamed. So now that we have that, we go down, we enable service window. Still got to do that. You can set it up to be a service window from midnight till midnight if you want to have that. But the things we did add in this, and some comments were, where's the minute and where's the hour? So more a reoccurrence or a trigger-based thing. So in the schedule part, we didn't add this in feature pack 1, but it's definitely something we're looking into. Unfortunately, we're not allowed to share too much of roadmap talk on some of our on-prem products, but we're definitely looking into it. So we have the daily. So you can set this up to run every other day, every third day, whatever you want to do. Or you can go in on weekly. So every Monday, every Friday. And some scenarios for this will be, let's take the Contoso Fitness we talked about. So we'll get orders coming in for stuff they want for their pro shops. And as we build up new stores, and it's going pretty rapid, right? We're constantly adding new facilities for training, and where I go all the time. And we can have orders to fill up an entire pro shop. So instead of sending these every single day, we might just send them every Friday. So having this support, we can tell you, you're only going to run these orders every Friday. Then we have the monthly, and then boom, we get a few more options. So you can select every other month, and then some specific dates or days within that. Or you can go and select the on option. I'm going to show that too. For instance, last day of that month, or something in that in between or around that. I got a problem when I'm presenting. I can't stand still. And first time on Monday, I didn't have this mic, so I had to hold on not to move, and I was still going like this. I'm sorry, it's confusing. So again, going back to the VSTS part, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here, and then select a new project. So what you'll see, and we've had some people saying, I can't see the new thing we call BizTalk Server Application Project. Just make sure you have the right .NET framework selected. And what it is a part of the ALM story, and it's one of those mandatory things we have to have as the baseline before we can take this further. And in this, you can bundle all your BTA or BTproj files. So all your BizTalk project can be within this BizTalk Server Application Project, so you can automatically deploy the entire project on your environment, or the application as we call it. We're open for suggestions if you don't like the name. We're not going to change it though, but we're open. And you can take all your applications, and once you start setting this up, and I'm going to show doing one, what you'll get, there's a few new things. And Coded had a few nice blogs on this, and some suggestions for improvement that we're definitely also looking into. See what I'm doing there? No? Let me close this one down. Oh, see, I didn't select the right one. Why didn't anyone say anything? Oh yeah, you're not talking, I forgot. You're just laughing. Oh, see, thank you. And you know, I've been thinking about blaming the jet lag, but everybody's been mocking us. Yeah, it's the jet lag. I woke up 1 a.m. So excited. Show you guys this. That's why I couldn't sleep for the past 3 days. So we got a new JSON file. And basically what you have to do is all your DLL or your assemblies has to be built into this. So taking it from your BizTalk projects. And then you add your binding file as well. And this is where it gets a little bit awesome when it comes to those tokens you can add in the binding files. And we got a video on this, both on YouTube, and we got it well written and explained in our documentation as well. But you can add all your projects, and you can add the sequence for how you want to have these deployed. So if you got some dependencies, et cetera, you can set this in the right order when you deploy it, and that's in the last kind of step. And I guess you guys get it, right? Yeah, smart people. Again, we have a dummy binding that we kind of have in it, so you get some inspiration. Doesn't have much data in it, though. But all the tokens can be added into your binding file. You can take the one you have today, and you can have multiple binding files depending on your applications, et cetera. And you can take these, and by using the tokens, again, when I'm going to show you the VSTS site, you can reference those tokens again and set the right receive location for your test, your prod, your development machine, or even naming conventions. You might have, and I know you guys are awesome at naming conventions. I wrote articles about that 5 years ago. So everyone's using the same, I think. Yeah, and don't need any money for that. And I thought you were supposed to laugh. Sorry. And all of those, every field you'll have in your binding file, you can add the tokens and then reference them back in Visual Studio again, or Visual Studio Team Services. And it's that simple. I mean, obviously, to add the project, you right-click and you add. I'm not going to. You guys are smart people. So in this case, I set up a dummy, and I just wanted to show it off a little. So there's a few steps. Obviously, you got to have the environment when you're setting up this release. You got to make sure you have the agent as well installed on your BizTalk machine. So the agent is required for being able to deploy the application. And we are using the management APIs as part of how we deploy your applications. On the CI/CD or continuous integration or whatever you want to reference it when it comes to this scenario is when you set this up with some of the configurations, and I'm going to show it, when we do that, we will full stop your application and deploy it again in feature pack 1. So if you do run this in production and you have some longer running transactions, they will be terminated by user. That was funny, huh? So we can add a task. One of the tasks we added, and the one you have to use, is the one called BizTalk Server. By the way, what do you think about the logo? Mm-hmm. The best response ever. Let me do 2. And in these, we have 2 types of options. So one is create new BizTalk Server application. The other one is update. And update, by that we mean you got a new schema. Okay, we're not going to break your application and undeploy it. We're just going to apply that new schema. We're going to add it to your application. So versioning, right? It's important. Who uses versioning for their BizTalk environments today? Everyone. Awesome. So that's the admin kicking in again, sorry. Select the application name, although we will honor from your build as well. And then you select the path from where you have it. One of the things, and we had some comments about this, and we haven't been good at documenting it that well, and that's partially because we're moving now. But you can, if you have a reference to another application, you can add it in here. So let's say you are referencing BizTalk application 1, or you're running standard, and you're referencing one of those 5 applications for your 105th workflow. You can go in and you can add that reference in here. So in this step, you deploy the application and add the reference. But you can also set up another step. So as these tasks are being run through, you can have multiple set of deployments. So let's say you have multiple BizTalk application projects, you can add them in here and have that full deployment story. Let me go back to the tokens I've talked about. Sorry if you guys are falling asleep. It's not on purpose. So again, going back into this nice interface, I selected my environment 1, which could be my development or production or test or UAT or QA. You guys have funny names for these environments. And you select the tokens. If you did have in one of your binding files receive location 1, you can do that and you can set the value for that specifically for this environment. So if that is a development machine, or you're not going to set up an HTTP call, or you're not going to connect to your SAP installation, but you want to test it out with file, that will work, but you got to also make those changes in the binding file and have all those referenced as a token. But you can do that as well. Or you can have different installations of SAP that you want to connect to, or different ways of setting up your HTTP endpoint. And all of those, again, referenced back in this token part. And see, I'm running out of time. And then since I did want to mention the last thing, and I'm not going to go deep dive into this management, but I wanted to give you that encrypt, decrypt, just in case you really wanted to see it. Let me know when you're satisfied. Okay? Awesome. So I know yesterday, Jeff kind of tried to fire me by saying that was the last presentation by Microsoft. I talked to Jim and I said, please don't fire me. He's like, yeah, you're good for now. We'll see how it ends. So I'd like to add on Jeff's comment, thank you so much for having us. It's a great honor, and it's very important for us to come here to these kind of events and talk to you guys and get feedback. And it's not just something we'll write in our head when you ask for something. We actually do look into those, and we added those tools like User Voice to get that kind of feedback. And you're more than welcome to come over to the US for the Integrate there as well in October. Beer's cheaper. There's bigger rooms in the hotels. We have fire alarms too. And it's, if there's anything, any feedback you guys have, you met all of the PMs running the tools in Pro Integration, even outside of Pro Integration with Dan Rosanova and the service bus. And we're always happy to get emails, and you're more than welcome to directly contact us. We can't guarantee you get a response within an hour, except I think some people might do that. Like Jeff, he's crazy. He's all over the place. But we really do appreciate you guys taking the time to come in and listen. And hope you guys will go and test out and do that migration to 2016. Test out Feature Pack 1, right? That's homework, and then expand your environment a little. And move to the cloud. Thank you.